Hello YouTube, this is Jason again with a second or third campaign. The first campaign, Olympus, fizzled out in a bunch of really horrible rolling that I did. Check that out, ended in Lantern Year 15. We have a second campaign going, which is the Sanctuary campaign. That hasn't ended yet. I'm playing that with friends, and so that may take a while, as it takes a while for us to get together. But this is another solo campaign. This is going to be the Hoth campaign. I know you don't name it until after the prologue, but I'm going to go ahead and name it so we have something to call this this settlement. I've got my prologue set up, and over here I've got my characters. So they all start with the normal gear: 1 cloth, 1 founding stone, and 1 survival. You've got Luke, you got Han, you've got Mara, and you've got Leia. And right here in the center, what I have is how I start my campaigns off. So first I'll decide on the settlement type, and I'll just do it randomly. And then I'll go ahead and decide on one of the expansions and a couple of themed expansions that I have. Nothing special, they just all use the expansions that come, that you can get through Kingdom Death. So we're going to go ahead and roll first and see which people we get. So we got a 5. So that would be People of the Lantern. And let's find out what expansions that we're going to start with. So it's a 2. So I'm just going to have 1 random expansion. Okay. And so there's a listing of expansions I have on the side, and we'll decide on that. And I'll let you know when I get back and we start the prologue. Okay, and we have set up our settlement. Sorry. Spindacules and Lonely Tree. We'll always have Lonely Tree in there because it's a benign expansion. You can use it if you want to. You don't have to use Lonely Tree when you actually encounter it. And we have Spindacules. And I've put the innovations in, the fighting arts, the disorders, the settlement events. And I've placed them all in the box. And as you see, we've replaced Endless Screams with Young Rivals. And so when we get to that, we'll start the Spindacule story event. But for right now, we're going to start with the White Lion Showdown prologue. So we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back, and we are about to begin the prologue. I'll go ahead and read the prologue. For those of you who have seen many of these playthroughs, you can go ahead and skip. But I'll go ahead and read through it, and hopefully the picture shows up right there. So once upon a time, there was a place of carved stone faces. A man with a lantern lay sleeping a dreamless sleep. The man knew nothing. One day the man woke up. He rubbed the dried ink caked over his eyes and opened them. Around him he saw other people stirring, and beyond, a horizon of unbroken darkness. A woman approached the man with the lantern. Her soft hand reached out to him. They had no words. They were a mystery to each other. Suddenly a monster emerged from the darkness, its eyes wild with hunger. It attacked. The people were no match for the monster. It tore their flesh and crushed their bones between its teeth. Some it devoured whole. Overcome with terror and grief, the man with the lantern collapsed to the ground. Cold stone noses pushed into his side. There was no escape. But the man did not want to die. Desperately grasping at the cold stone faces, he felt a crack and tore at it with all his might. A piece of stone came free. It was sharp and deadly. The man with the lantern scrambled to his feet, his weapon clenched in his fist. He took a deep breath and roared into the darkness. Somewhere in the place of stone faces, nameless men and women stand together. They have nothing but the need to survive and a lantern to light their struggle. Okay, so I will reiterate one more time. This is not a tutorial video. There's tons of tutorial videos out there that will show you how to play this game. This is a recording to actually just enjoy the game, and hopefully that's what you take it for. I have a new setup. You see the survivor stats in the top left and the monster stats in the top right, and I'll try to present the cards more often in this campaign so you get to see the cards that are actually drawn. So the first thing we actually do is the monster gets to go first. because it is attacking us. And we're going to choose this person right here, who is Han. And Han is actually going to be the monster controller. And the reason we do that is because he's going to get the insanity. So let's go ahead and start. The first card we draw is always Claw. And so it says pick a target, the closest threat facing in range, and we're going to choose the monster controller, which is Han. The monster is going to move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Normally the monster has a movement of 6, but he only needs to go 5 to get to Han, so we're going to move him up and give Han his first insanity. So Claw says it's 2 attacks. It is a 2+ to hit, so that'll be what we roll. Let's see if we miss him once, and we did. An 8 and a 1. So 1 hit on Han. We'll see where it hits him. It's going to hit him in the waist. Perfect. It's the only place he's got armor, so his 1 armor goes down to 0. And with that, that ends the monster's turn, and it is our turn. And we know what this card is. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to give it to Han, since he was the first one attacked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just move him 4 over here. And he's going to throw his Founding Stone. Okay? So he's going to toss his Founding Stone. And his Founding Stone says, spend an action to sling the stone from anywhere on the board. Archive this card for 1 automatic hit that inflicts a critical wound. So we're going to do that. Then it says archive, which means return this to the box. And it's gone. So he throws it. We're going to archive that. And he hits a big surprise. It is the Strange Hand. So the critical on the Strange Hand down below states, you hack off the monster's hand. Spend 1 survival to treasure this moment and gain +1 permanent strength. This is a persistent injury, lost hand. So let me move the board up here so you can see as much as we can. We're going to place Strange Hand on the tracker here. Give him 1 wound. And Han is going to spend that survival. We'll give him +1 permanent strength. And we'll note his great deed. Hacked off Lion Strange Hand. So that is his action. And now we'll go on to, we'll do Luke next. Luke will come around, Luke will come around to the blind spot. So he'll swing twice with his Founding Stone. He needs a 6+ because he's in the blind spot. And there is a 9 and a 5. So there's 1 hit. And is a hit to his beast flank. No negative on this. And so there is a wound reaction. We'll read that if we wound him. So he's going to need he's got a strength of 1 on the weapon. And this baby white lion that we fight initially has a toughness of 6. So he needs a 5 to wound. And that did not wound. And we're going to have Mara come to the blind spot. She needs a 6 also. A 10 and a 7. That's 2 hits on the white lion. And so here we've got the Beast Paw. So there's a failure reaction where he will attack back with a +2 strength. And over here we have the Beast Tricep, where again he's going to attack back if she fails. So we're going to go ahead and do the Tricep first, and then we're going to do the Beast Paw. Alright, so Tricep goes first. Yes, Tricep will go first. And she needs a 5. So that fails. So he's going to attack her back. It's 2 attacks, so 2+ to hit her. 2 hits. The locations for Mara are the body and the foot. So she's going to take light injuries to both. And She will try to wound the next location. That's an 8. So that actually does wound him for the Beast Paw. And there's his AI card. And now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to have, actually, look at that. Leia can get to the blind spot. She'll attack twice. It's a 9 or force. That's 1 hit. It's impervious. It's the glorious main. She can only crit this, and she did not. So that is our turn. It is now the White Lion's turn, and we'll draw a card for him. The monster controller is now Luke. Is that the way we're going with it? Yes, clockwise. So Luke is the monster controller, and the draw is Enraged. So there's Enraged. So it says when this comes into play, we'll draw another AI card. When Enraged comes into play, he gets a +1 damage token per monster level, but he's monster level 0. +1 damage token per monster level. When a survivor suffers any dismembered, severe injury, or is killed, discard Enraged. So he's going to get 1, even though he's a level 0 lion. It'll go over here, and we'll draw another AI card, which is going to be Maul. So there's Maul. So, victim of grab last round. Nobody was grabbed last round. Closest knockdown survivor in range. Nobody is knocked down. No target, he's going to sniff. So that's all he's going to do. He's going to sniff. Everybody becomes a threat. And now it's our turn. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and have Mara. She's going to come around to the blind spot. She's going to attack twice. A 5 and a 10. So that's 2 hit locations. So the first one is the Beast Maw. There is a failure. The monster roars triumphantly. Roll a d10 on a 4+. 1 brain damage and knockdown. And there's this one. Failure means he moves forward. So we're going to do actually the Maw first, just in case he knocks us down. Then we don't have to suffer this move forward, which means he was going to run over Luke. So we're going to do the Beast Maw first. So she's going to need a 5+. That is a 9. So she does wound him. And we're going to do the second one, which is going to be the Beast Chest. That's a 4. So she failed. So it says full move and a 4 in a straight line. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he's going to suffer grab. And so he's going to suffer 2 damage, I believe. Let me see what grab says. Place target knockdown in front of the monster. Attacker suffers 1 damage per monster level. And then Enraged is going to give him another damage. Okay, so 2 damage to the body. And that is a heavy for him. We can't reach him with any other survivor. And we're at least going to get closer. We're going to go over here. Okay, so the monster controller is now Leia. Hopefully he attacks a threat. Let's find out. It is Chomp. So Chomp reads, closest threat facing in range. There's not a threat in front of him because Luke is knocked down. Closest threat in field of view. That will be Leia. And she's going to get an insanity because she is the monster controller. Okay, and it's 1 attack. It's a 2+ to hit her. And it's a headhunter, so it will hit the head. So if it's not a 1, she's going to dodge this. And she will dodge it. Otherwise, she would have taken 2 damage to the head, and that would not have been good. So that is the end of the lion's turn, and Luke will stand up. Leia's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's going to attack from the blind spot. Needing 6s. That's 1 hit. So that is a hit to the fleshy gut. There is a failure, which means he performs a basic action against her. She needs a 5+ to wound him. That's a 6. So she does not fail. Here's the wound. And we'll go ahead and shuffle the AI deck. So I'm still getting used to this tracker. I need to slow down a little bit to allow for you guys to actually see the changes on the screen. Okay, and survivors, I'm just catching you guys up. So Luke does have a heavy. To the body. Okay. Leia is suffering nothing. She just doesn't have any survival left. Mara has a light to the body and a light to the legs. And Han has just his waist armor gone. Alright, sorry about that. I will try to do better with this tracker so that you could actually see on screen. And next time I think I'm going to add survival to this also, so you'll get to see that on the screen. Okay, again, apologies. I just think this is actually going to make it easier for you to follow at home. Okay. So that was the 1 damage to him. And now it's going to be, I think we're going to go ahead and allow Han to come up. He's going to attack twice. He needs 7s because he is using his fist and tooth. So there's 2 misses for Han. Luke will come up. 2 attacks needing 7s. There's 1 hit. So it is a hit to the beast's heel. You clip the tensed muscles of the heel. There's no negatives, no reactions, so he just needs a 5+ to wound. That does not wound. And Mara's going to come up. She's going to attack twice. There's 1 hit. And that is to the beast's ear. There is a failure where he jumps back. And he'll knock over Luke. So hopefully she wounds. She does not. So he jumps over this way. And will knock Luke back. And knock him over. So it says, without turning, move the monster 1 space directly away from the attacker. Cancel all hits out of range. So our turn is done. The monster controller is now Mara. And we will draw Maul. So the victim of grab last round. No. The closest knockdown survivor in range. That is Luke. He's going to get 2 attacks on Luke. Whoa, it's a 2+ to hit him. So 2 hits on him. These 2 locations. 4 to the waist and 4 to the waist. So already Luke's going to take 2 severe injury rolls to the waist. Let's see if we can't survive this prologue. Alright, so the first roll to the waist is a 6. Destroy genitals. Cannot be nominated for intimacy story event. The injury is permanent and can be recorded once. Gain a random disorder. You are knocked down. Gazing upwards, you wonder at the futility of your struggle. Gain 3 insanity and a bleeding token. Okay, so before we get that, let's see if he survives the second one. 8. Slashed back. Making sudden movements is crucially painful. You cannot surge until the showdown ends. Gain a bleeding token. That one's not bad. Okay, so we have 2 bleeding tokens from the severe injury. So there's 2 bleedings for Luke. He's going to get a random disorder. So we're going to shuffle the disorders. Okay, and let's grab a disorder from the deck. And that disorder is Revenge. So this is one of the Spendicule ones. It says, when a fellow hunter perishes, you lose control. When a survivor dies during the showdown, suffer the frenzy brain trauma. Gotcha. Okay, and so there is... And he's got destroyed genitals now. He gets 3 insanity, so he's up to 3 insanity. He can no longer do intimacy. And then the slash back, I just can't surge, but I can't anyways gain a bleeding token. So I've got 2 bleeding tokens. But from the Maul card, it says, bleed. Target gains a bleeding token. So he's going to get a 3rd bleeding token. Here it is. And bash. Target is knocked down, which he's knocked down anyways. Oh, that's a nasty card. Especially with the enraged going on. Okay, well, that is the lion's turn. So now we're going to take our turn. So one of our survivors can make it. So Mara's going to go up. She's going to attack twice with her Founding Stone. There's 1 hit. That hit is the beast's knee. There is no negative. She just needs to wound. And she did. So Han's going to go up. He needs an 8+ from the side. There's 2 misses. And Leia's going to go over there. Okay, the monster's controller is Han now. So we'll go ahead and draw the AI card. And it is Claw. So it says, pick a threat facing in range. Nope. Threat in field of view. Closest threat. So that is going to be Han. So Han is going to get an insanity. And it's 2 attacks with a 2+ to hit him. Okay. Sorry, just updating the tracker so you can see. And promise you I'll get the hang of this eventually. Okay. So he turns to Han and he attacks Han. It's 2 attacks. He needs a 2+. 2 hits. So 2 damage to these locations, hand and hand. So he gets knocked down on the first one, and on the second one he's going to take a severe injury. So we'll roll. It is a 10. Let's see what a 10 is on severe injury. Hopefully it's not too bad. It's the best I could roll. So a 10 on the arms is hit the dirt. The blow sends you sprawling. You are knocked down. Okay, so he's knocked down. No big deal. There we go. And that is the end of the White Lion's turn. Luke stands up. And without genitals, he's going to attack from the rear. So he's going to need 6s. So there's 1 hit. So the hit location is the beast's elbow. Failure means he runs forward and he's going to grab Han. So let's hope we don't fail. Shuffling up the AI deck. Do I cut it? No. Okay, so he's going to try to wound the White Lion. That's a crit. So the critical on the card reads, the monster howls in pain as the blow breaks the elbow with a sickening crunch. Non-death survivors gain 3 insanity and may stand if they are knocked down. Well, that's excellent. So there's the wound. Everybody's going to get 3 insanity. So Leia's up to 4. Mara's at 3. Han's at 5. And Luke's going to be at 6. Okay. And he stands if knocked down. Good job. Well, let's get him out of the front. 5. Moves him on the side. He needs 8s. So there's 1 hit. So the hit location is the soft belly. And there's no negative with the soft belly. So that's good. And the monster is down to 2 life. There's no negative with this. So he's got a +1 strength, so it's almost like he's got a founding stone. He's going to need a 5 to wound the White Lion. That's a 6. So he does wound the White Lion. And now the White Lion is down to basic action. We just need somebody to kill him. Leia's going to run up. 2 attacks with a founding stone. 2 misses. Mara's going to attack. She needs 7s. There's 1 hit. That's all we need. There's a wound reaction. There is no failure reaction. And she does not wound, unfortunately. And so the White Lion is going to do his basic action. The monster controller is Luke. We're not going to choose Luke. And we're going to choose whoever can handle these attacks. So it looks like either Mara or Han. Han's got the +1 strength. I'd rather him not die. So Mara's going to get attacked. She does have a survival left to dodge, so let's see what happens. So here's 2 attacks on Mara. 2 hits. 2 damage to these locations. The body and the waist. She'll take the waist, and she'll dodge the body. Okay. And that's just a light injury for her. So she doesn't have any more survival. And she did take injury to the waist. All right. This is our time to kill this lion, but Mara needs to get out from in front of him. So she's going to go over, and she needs 7s to hit him from the side. 2 misses. We're going to have Han attack. He needs 7s from the back. That's 1 hit. So it is the fuzzy groin. This would be a great time to crit. He needs a 9 or a 10 to crit. That is a 1, so he fails. And he's going to move now. We're going to leave room for Luke to attack. There's 2 hits. Thank goodness. We're getting close to the trap, though. You've got the straining neck, which has no negative, and a biscapular deltoid, which has them run forward. So we're going to have the straining neck go first. That is not a wound. And the scapular deltoid, that is a 7. So the white lion dies. Down goes the white lion. And Luke was the one that actually hit. So I have a house rule. If you watch my previous campaign, there's these promo cards that come with different boxes. And so whoever kills the white lion, which is Luke, gets to roll a d10 on a lantern 10, increasing with luck. But he's got 0 luck. So on a lantern 10, he will actually get a promo card. He does not. And so we'll go to the prologue intro story here. The first story. Okay. Survivors prevail in the and aftermath. If the white lion is killed, the remaining survivors are victorious. In the aftermath, players should fill the first unfilled box in the Hunt XP. So Luke has 1. Han has 1. Mara has 1. And Leia has 1. Okay, so they all get 1 hunt experience for killing the white lion. Collect your rewards by scavenging the monster's corpse. So take out the white lion's resource cards, shuffle them, and draw 4, and then draw 4 basic resources. Okay, so I've got the white lion resource cards. We'll shuffle them, and we'll draw 4 resources, hoping to get some good stuff. Maybe a shimmering mane, maybe a cat's eye. Come on. So whiskers, great cat bone, white fur, and the eye of a cat. Awesome. We're going to take 4 basic resources now. Mix these up. And we get an organ, love juice, bones, and a hide. Also good draws. Okay, after they defeat the white lion, the survivors wander the darkness, drawn to a soft glow blooming on the horizon. In the first story settlement phase, players create the settlement they will return to in every subsequent settlement phase. The steps of the settlement phase are outlined on the settlement board as a useful reminder. So let's go ahead and lay that board out. Put our survivors over here. Okay. They are the returning survivors. Below the settlement name, that returning survivors gain +1 survival when the settlement is named. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that now. The settlement limit is 1, so we'll put everybody back up to 1 survival. Done. Returning survivors heal any existing light and heavy injuries. That's good. So we're going to heal everything off of Mara. Heal the arms of Han, the body and the waist of Luke, and Leia did not get injured. Okay, so that's done. Gain endeavors. So there's 4 returning survivors. We get 4 endeavors. And here they are. Update the timeline. Okay, so that's on the record sheet. The first settlement event is returning survivors and first story. So let's see what it says. Find the first day settlement event. Yes. Find the first day settlement event card and place it in the play area. It's the only time this will be used. So here it is. Okay. And we'll go ahead and read this to you. The first day settlement event will help you set up your settlement. It is the first event of any campaign. The survivors wander, drawn to a blooming light in the distance. They find serene comfort in the towering pile of lanterns and a small collection of scared people. On a deep instinctual level, they know this area is safe and they make it their home. Roll a d10 to determine your starting population and record the result on the back of the settlement record sheet. Choose and record genders for unnamed survivors. You may name unnamed survivors and create their survivor record sheet at any time during the settlement phase. So we're going to go ahead and roll. It is a 6. So 8 unnamed survivors plus the returning survivors. So we'll go ahead and do that. 4 male, 4 female, plus the returning survivors. So that would be Luke, Han, all born in Lantern Year 0, as well as all the females, Leia and Mara. So our population right now is 12. Good starting population. I'll take it. Return to the settlement section of the first story and proceed to returning survivors. Copy that. We will do that. Okay. So here we've got returning survivors. The first words. Nominate a survivor to utter the first words. I think we're going to, let's see. I think we're going to go ahead and nominate somebody else. So we're going to nominate a female to be, to say the first words. We'll do Mon Mothma. And Mon Mothma gets +1 courage. They lead the other survivors in learning to speak to one another. They discuss their situation, realizing they must hunt to live. Add the white line to the quarry list. Done. Your settlement gains the language innovation. Done. Search the innovation cards for language and place it in your settlement. Stand by while I grab it. And I've got language. So language makes our survival limit go up by 1. So our survival limit is now 2. And it says all survivors gain encourage. Great. Add language consequences to the innovation deck. Done. And all of our survivors, I'm going to fill in the encourage box so I don't forget that they do have encourage. And done. Shuffle the 6 cards together. Let me make sure there's 6 in here. There are 6 in here. That is the innovation deck. Armed with language, the nominated survivor aptly names the glowing center of their home the Lantern Horde. The settlement gains the Lantern Horde settlement location. And here it is, Lantern Horde. The Lantern Horde is the source of all innovations, and further locations the settlement will develop. The nominated survivor sits in front of the Lantern Horde in awe and gains +1 understanding. So Mon Mothma gets +1 understanding. They must skip the next hunt phase as they ponder the meaning of existence. Okay, she will not go out. Check off the skip hunt box. Okay, and I will do that. Return to the first story event. Okay. Okay, I'm there. Update to death count. Nobody. Check the milestones. Okay. Well, no milestones. Develop. During this step, the survivors spend their endeavors wherever an endeavor marker is indicated. When the settlement starts out, they can spend their endeavors to the Lantern Horde to build new settlement locations. If you can, spend 3 endeavors to build the Bonesmith, Organ Grinder, and Skinnery settlement locations. If there are fewer than 3 endeavors to start, choose which locations to build, okay? Okay. So here's where we're going to develop. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to innovate. So we're going to use, I'm actually going to use the hide, the bone, and the organ. So we're going to use these basic resources here to innovate. So I find that innovation is extremely important. So that costs an endeavor and the resources that I just mentioned. So we'll grab the innovation deck and we'll choose 2. So innovate is right here. And it says, once per settlement phase, you may spend the listed resources to draw 2 innovation cards, keep 1, and return the other to the deck. So we'll give it a good shuffle. And we'll choose this one, Paint. And we're going to choose this one, Inner Lantern. So, Inner Lantern is going to give you Surge, which allows you to do an extra action. Paint is going to allow you to dash, which I'm going to choose Paint. And we're supposed to add Paint consequences to the innovation deck. So let me grab those for you. And the Paint innovations: base painting, pictography, and sculpture. And there they are. I'm going to add those to the innovation deck. Added. And that's that. We're going to spend the 3 innovations as instructed by the book to build our other settlement locations. So we'll add the bonesmith, the skinnery, and the organ grinder. So that is added. And we are left with these. I'm going to use this to get the cat eye circlet. Bear with me just a second while I find it. That took longer than it needed to. And now I have an organ, a bone, and a hide. I'm going to go ahead and use the love juice to do intimacy. All right, so we'll kick off intimacy right away. So here's intimacy. Nominate 1 consenting male and 1 consenting female survivor and roll on the intimacy table below. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make Obi-Wan and Satine. And they are going to roll on the intimacy table. So there's a 10. The settlement celebrates a twice fortunate event. A pair of healthy newborn survivors enters the world. The settlement gains +2 population. If I had Hovel, I would have got a special child already. So here's a male. We are still in Lantern. Oh, so this is Lantern Year 1. So this male is born in Lantern Year 1. And we're going to do a female. Born in Lantern Year 1. And our population goes up to 14. And we kick off First Child is Born, which is Principal New Life. So let's turn to that. Principal New Life. The group must decide how to raise their young. Do I raise the young without mercy, which is going to give me survival of the fittest? Or do I do it with affection, which is going to allow us to do protect the young? Survival of the fittest will actually give me like a +1 strength, I think, +1 evasion. And it also gives me a once in a lifetime reroll. But whenever you try to have children, you roll twice, you take the lowest. So that is not a pleasant thing to do, and it's very hard to get a savior that way. With affection will actually give me 2 rolls on the chart and take the highest, which increases your population, but you don't get the boost or the once in a lifetime reroll. I'm actually going to choose with affection, and I usually do. So, protect the young. The children are the future. When rolling on the intimacy story event, roll twice and then pick a result. Okay? So that's done. The settlement gains the new life principle, protect the young. Find and place the card on the settlement board. After adding the card, roll a d10. So at 2, the settlement gathers around the newborn in awe. Never have they seen something so precious and meaningful. The parents each gain 2 survival and +1 permanent evasion. So Obi-Wan, +2 survival, +1 evasion. Satine, +2 survival, +1 evasion. So that's done. And now I have an organ, a hide, and a bone. So we're going to take the organ and the bone, and we are going to build an axe. 1 bone, 1 organ. Archive those and get the bone axe. And with the hide, we're going to go ahead and build a a rawhide helm, rawhide headband. So that's what we have. And we're going to give both of these to Han. Han doesn't have a weapon right now because he's the one that threw the founding stone. But he does have a +1 strength. So now, not only does he have a +1 strength, he gets a +3 strength weapon. And we're going to give him the armor so that maybe he can take the hit of the White Lion. And for the Cat Eye Circlet, we're going to give that to Mara. And that's going to allow us to look at the hit locations for the White Lion. Alright, with that we are done. We have paint, which gives us dash. Let me write that down on everybody's sheet. Okay, and we have 2 survival limit, but we don't have any departure survival for right now. So when we restart this, we're going to go ahead and begin the hunt phase for a level 1 White Lion as we go hunt this thing again. Thanks for joining me. Bye.